beauties. How are you? Yeah. This is the time to start arguments, when you have a full belly, isn't it? Always. Okay. We're going to have a very interesting next presentation about how to use AI. I know AI is all around, but in this specific instance, we are going to have a presentation from a gentleman who's actually a startupper in Seoul. He's been in the industry for 25 years, so since he's been born. Yeah? And for the last 2 years, he's been developing a solution to match candidates, even new candidates and all the other ones maybe in your previous databases. And he's based in Dublin and in, of course, Central Eastern Europe. And please welcome on the stage, Ivan Stojanovic.
Thank you. It says that I have 4 minutes left. Oh. Hi, my name is, this was I have 4 minutes left. My name is Ivan Stojanovic, and you've heard the introduction. So today I will talk about how to actually use AI. From loads of you this morning, I've got questions. How should I use AI? And I think that's actually a fundamentally wrong question. I think that the right question is, how should I work with AI to become a more efficient recruiter? So my whole presentation today is going to be, how should you work with AI as opposed to use AI? So oh, sorry, there are slides as well. That's the intro. And I'm not going to be talking to you about recruitment because you're all recruiters in the room and you all know what recruitment is. You're always busy, you all have ups and downs, you all have times that you're super busy and times that you're not busy while you're improving your processes or whatever. We call downturn in recruitment. So I've been recruiting for about 20 years. I'm ex-software engineer. I used to work in companies like Microsoft and similar. And got bored or got stuck in a career and ended up being a recruiter. I know that most of you actually probably didn't think of when you are going to university or before that, oh, I'm going to be a recruiter one day. Recruitment is an industry where most of us actually get stuck, and there is no kind of career path to it. Actually, the only city where you can actually study recruitment is in Dublin, Ireland, and we introduced it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And before that, you actually couldn't study recruitment. Next, am I wrong? Is this another city? No. We're introducing as well Masters in Recruitment program that is going to start next September in Dublin. But I'm really afraid of all these people that are studying recruitment, especially they're doing Masters in Recruitment right now, because by the time that they finish this in 2 years, we've heard from Kevin that this might not be here any longer. I don't know whether you agree or not, and by the silence in the room, I'll probably say you do. Challenges. Is the font big enough? Oh, it is big enough. I didn't know that. So we are all either super busy or not having anything to do. When we are super busy, we are secured in our jobs. When we are not super busy, we are looking for some process improvements or changes of the ATS or anything else. And then there is AI that came here. So what I've heard from questions and in conversation with people here, you're saying that you're using AI to create your job specs. And I think this is a fabulous first step. And you will also realize that this is the totally wrong step to take. Because what you usually do is you write your job spec or recycle whatever you had. You put it in ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot or whatever you're using here. And you say, okay, this is my job spec, and just can make it better. And AI does a lot of its hallucinations, as it usually does, and makes it better, and you think, oh, this is really good. And it kind of sounds smart because AI is made as a crowd pleaser. It's always, every single output is really, really good sounding, but what's actually in that job spec might not be what you're looking for. And actually, 90% of the cases, it isn't. And it isn't because you're not telling AI who you really are, who your company is. You're not telling AI, look, there's our company website. Take a look at our career page. take all the values and everything that we do, and let us create the job spec that is in line with the core values of our company, of our messaging, and everything else. Let's use the vocabulary that you're using on every single other marketing page that you paid quite a lot to get published. We never do that. And AI actually, up until a few months ago, couldn't do that. AI didn't have access to the web. So 2 years ago, we started developing. I was a recruiter, and I saw, look, this is not really going anywhere. We started losing clients, and we didn't get a new client for almost like 6 months. And I said, OK, this is not going to work. So we started looking, OK, how do we use AI? What can AI do for us? And potentially develop a product. And the idea of a product 2 years ago was, let's make a recruitment agency, because we as an Irish recruiter, we are a recruitment agency. Let's make a recruitment agency with no recruiters. And everybody in the company was like, sorry, do we really want to do that? But that is kind of the future where things are going. Regardless of whether you see it today or not, regardless of whether you want to accept it or not, that is where this is going. And I'm a super lazy person. So what I always hated the most was copying, pasting, updating spreadsheets, ATSs, sending emails, and all the manual work where I had to use my keyboard and a mouse. That's what I hated the most, especially just migrating data from one system to another. So I said to myself, OK, can AI do all those? So I spoke to AI, and I started with do this, do this, do this, which is using AI. And that, in the first 6 months, got me absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And then I started talking to other people who are developing AI, and they kind of guided us, OK, that's not really the way to use AI. The way to use AI is you treat AI as your intern. And that intern, by the way, in that year or 2 years since we started, became from an intern to a PhD type of an intern. And PhD in pretty much everything, because AI has read pretty much everything that exists. We're now, the major problem in AI is that we don't have any data to put into AI anymore, so we're then creating synthetic data with AI to put into AI to train on it, which most of people don't agree that it's actually a good step. So what I hated the most was all the manual work. So I looked at my day and I said, OK, what do I actually do in the morning when I come to the office? I come to the office and I have full inbox or full ATS of new applicants. So I was like, OK, 150 new applicants. Yes, no, progress, don't progress, reject, reject, no, an hour every single day. When we are busy, when we have loads of jobs, 2 hours every single day. And I kind of thought, like, that's kind of something that is in its core text analysis. And AI should actually be large language model, be able to do that really, really well and really, really quickly. So we started developing the application that looks at the job spec, the CV, and says yes or no, just yes or no. Then we started putting scores, evaluating different parts, education, location, skills, job experience, types of companies that this person has worked at, and loads of other elements. And it kind of extended our development to now a full year. I think we overdone it, actually. But I think we overdone it because we started developing super early, where AI wasn't what it is today. Remember, AI today, 2 years ago, didn't have memory. So it was one prompt in, one prompt out. That's it. Next prompt doesn't remember anything. It didn't have access to the web. Think about it. A year ago, AI, you ask something AI and says, well, all my data is up until 2021 or 2023. I don't know anything that happened since. Then a few months ago, somebody released a model which says, oh yeah, we can do all this, but we can also go on the web and research absolutely everything that we need to research. We think we need to research to answer this question properly. And this is when I think Gemini was the first, could be wrong, but I started using Gemini the first with a deep thinking, where the response takes half an hour, but it gives you it takes a look at 150 websites, YouTube videos, Reddit, social media, blah, 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 whatever else, before giving you an answer. And an answer is usually like a 50-page document that is like a PhD document, which is mostly right. Could be wrong if it reads something wrong on the internet, because anybody can publish anything on the internet. So if somebody is publishing something on some social media, like Reddit or whatever, which is wrong, that will influence the answer. So If you think of today in recruitment, what do? You look at candidates that apply to you. You also look at, and I hear that most of you here are internal employers. So you probably have large database of CVs. And I'll just ask you one question. Have you hired anybody from your internal database in this year? 1, 2, that's a hair. 3, hair again, sorry. Stop with the hair, how will I count? So 3, 5, 4, 4.5, 4, 4, yeah, 4, 5, 5.5, sorry. So 5.5, how many people are in the room? That's what? 6 and 7 down there. This brings us to what? Less than 10%. So 90% of you have a database of CVs that you haven't recruited for. And those are people who are interested to work for you, applied to work with your company, they want to work for your company, potentially your best talent pool, okay? You didn't touch them, or you didn't successfully recruit it from there. The reasoning for this is that you're searching in your talent pool. Actually, I'll give you another question. Is anybody happy the way that they can search for the candidates in their existing talent pool? 1 kind of yes-ish, 2, 3, 4, 5. So less than 10%, 5.5, 5 iffy. Yeah. So 90% of you are not happy the way you can search. And guess what? AI does this and does this perfectly. You don't have to write Boolean strings. You don't have to do all technical filtering, blah, 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 whatever else. AI does this, and this became the core of our company. You publish a job spec in your ATS or recruitment software, whatever you want to call it, and it looks at all your either applicants for that job or your existing talent pool and gets you a ranking of all the candidates, and you can select, I want to see top 10 or top 50, and just evaluate those. And then you start searching through the 50 best candidates for that role. When you see a search result like this, you'll be scared. That happened to me when I was first testing our tool. So we've made this about a year ago, and I've put 150 CVs of people that we've sourced candidates for a role of SRE engineer. And it said, okay, 12 of these people are good. And they were ranked in the order. And the first 2 people there on top of the list were the 2 people that actually received an offer. And it was more than a year ago. And I realized, okay, I will never get a job in recruitment again. Because if AI can just based on a job spec and minutes of the intake meeting as well. So minutes of the intake meeting, job spec, CVs, poof. Why am I here? So I kind of started thinking, maybe we actually can make a recruitment agency with no recruiters. Why do we need recruiters? If recruiters can say at that stage, if AI can say at that stage, this is the outcome of your month-long process, why do I need all this? Can we shorten all this and just let AI pick the best people and that's it? And that became scary. And I started presenting the results. And a number of companies became really, really interested. Large companies that have large databases of people. So we got founders for Microsoft's startup package from them, similar thing from other vendors for the LLMs, because they realized as well, yes, we can use this internally, but that's a potential for a product that wipes the whole industry and can probably deliver what we are delivering today drastically faster, drastically more efficient. And the end result is that we recruiters are not perfect. We will get better people hired in those companies, effectively making those companies more profitable and better, and people happier in those companies because they're going to be working in jobs that they actually like, which is kind of changing the whole world if you change the whole workforce. And this is where I got really excited. So I said, okay, we have a recruitment agency, Irish Recruiter, that's all cool, but let's start phasing this out. I'm only working now as a headhunter for some C-level roles that I don't know how to outsource, and we're full-time in this. It's only 4 employees in Taladria, and we are developing something that will potentially change everything. So remember, this is not a sales pitch, and I was told I'm not allowed to actually try to sell you anything, but there's actually nothing to sell you at the moment because our product is far from over. It's in testing with about 10 different companies, different sizes, different industries, different types, just to see where this will get us. So if you ask, I was asked today by a few of you, how do we use AI? So don't use AI. We think of AI as a computer, as Kevin was presenting it today. But AI is something totally different. Computer is your Outlook. Computer is your Word. Computer is your Excel, or any software that you use on a computer. And we use that to help us achieve some goal. And AI is different in concept, in such a way that in AI, you tell AI who you are, what do you do, and what do you think your problem is, and ask for 3 solutions on how to go about it. And AI will give you options, what you could do, and then you choose one of them, and it will either create a software or process or whatever you ask it to do, and it will do the whole thing. So this is not using AI. This is not your job description that you are making fancier with AI. This is solving the whole recruitment problem, and that's what modern AI is for. And I got a tip this morning, over lunch, to use AI for talent market intelligence. That sounds really nice. Should use this more. So talent market intelligence, you get a new role tomorrow which says you should hire engineer in blockchain. You've never hired a blockchain engineer. Your company says, oh, we have to go blockchain. We need blockchain engineers. Great. You know nothing about blockchain. Nobody knows in a company nothing about blockchain. There's no hiring manager who can explain to you what it is, how to hire this, where these people are, how to attract them, what's interesting to them, what is the history of blockchain, where the future of blockchain most likely is. But guess what? AI does all that really well, really quick, and mostly for free. So talent marketing intelligence, just describe the problem. Half an hour later, you will know where these people who are using these technologies are, how much are they paid, which companies do they work for, what do you need to do to attract them. If those people don't exist in your area, which other areas could they actually potentially come from, so you can upskill them. And it gives you the whole solution. And it writes a job spec for all these people to attract different types of people that can actually potentially fill this job. And that's where silence starts, because AI does that. So this is what AI currently do in your ATSs. Does anybody actually use any of this? Anything, any of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6, 7, 8, 6. 20% of you. So it's spreading. It's slowly spreading, or at least you think you're using it. Are you happy the way that you use it, those 20 people? Does it actually give you a good result? Does it give you something that is helping you be more effective and leaving home earlier every single day? Sometimes yes-ish. Yes-ish, nothing from yes-ish. You're all kind of yes-ish. Okay, good. This is the beginning. And we don't know where the end is. And potentially the end is what Kevin showed this morning. There's no recruiters. And I'm kind of becoming the believer in that. I did put a slogan on a company, Taladria Recruitment Agency with no recruiters. And I didn't really believe it. But as time is passing by, I'm kind of more realizing that this is where it's going. So I really value what Kevin is writing. So the first problem for me always was we get tons of applications. As a recruitment agency, we have large media presence, and we advertise on loads of places. So every single job that I advertise, I always get 100 applications in the first day. You might have noticed that in the last year, number of applications, and if you talk to any of the recruitment technology providers, has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, or whatever. Do you see that in Hungary as well? Is that happening here? Is the number of job applications larger this year, or is it smaller? No, smaller. This is where this presentation fails drastically. Because in the rest of the world, people have started developing something called Apply AI or whatever. And a new startup for auto-applying to jobs is pretty much launched every single day. Number of large LLM vendors that are giving free credits to companies like this. So it takes about zero investment to create a website where you can put your CV and decide which jobs do you actually want it to apply, pay 10 euros a month, and it will auto apply on every single job board that has a job like this in that location. And that is a problem for majority of recruiters. Not for you, and you should enjoy that it isn't. Is it Hungarian language that stops? Or why do you think this is not happening here? Nobody knows. I don't know either. Sorry, I don't have an answer for that. We should ask ChatGPT or one of those. But it is happening. So for what became popular, especially in recruitment, because there are so many recruiters looking for a job, in Dublin, I would say that roughly 40% of who were a recruiter last year are not in recruitment or they're looking for a job. So what we started, and you can see it in US and in UK as well, we advertise recruiter jobs for 24 hours max. And sometimes it even says on the job description as well, this job will be open for 24 hours because we get enough. And by enough, it means thousands. Because all the CVs sitting in all those applications are just waiting for this. So in the first hour, you get 100. 100 CVs an hour? That's actually hard to manually verify whether those are good CVs or not. But you get 100 CVs every hour, which means there's more work for you than the time that you have to do just the first step, to take a look at the CVs. And this is where I think AI will actually do everything for you, and it will not be tired at the end of the day. It will not have Friday lunch or something that we all do, and it will have exactly the same standard of matching candidates to CVs every single day for every single candidate, which I don't believe I have. I don't know whether you believe you do, but I know I don't have. When I have somebody that is on the third stage of the interview, new CV comes in, I'm like, yeah, nah, we're gonna close this. My KPIs are done. So I don't really care about who applies, but that can potentially be the best candidate, which we as a company are not hiring. So majority of what we've been developing in Taladria is, okay, let's make a really good matchmaking that is not biased, where you can put a radius search so it doesn't give you candidates that are from countries or from too far away that you cannot relocate if you're not relocating. Andre is here from relocate.ie somewhere, who is relocating people, so I'm not going to be talking about relocation. But the main problem that I always had was reviewing CVs. And this is just me. This is how I used AI or worked with AI, because AI had a PhD in pretty much everything and was never tired to do absolutely anything and cost me very little or pretty much nothing. So the way this works for us is we got all the CVs reviewed by AI. At the end of the review, we ask AI to just answer one question. After all the statements that it gives us about a person, how educated this person is it relevant education, will he likely stay with the company, all the analysis, we ask just one question, and the answer we require is yes, no. Should this person be invited for the first interview? And that gets emit in a text to a next agent that looks at all the reviewed candidates and it says, okay, if the review ends with invite for interview, yes, then you have an agent that goes in that stage in your ATS and moves the candidate to a next stage. What percentage of your work today did I just remove with that? What would you say? Less than 10%? Silence. 10 to 20%? Silence. Okay, this is like scary. Are you just silent, or or is this going to be like 100% yes? Shit, sorry. This is being recorded. I apologize. Majority of the people that have tested what we've developed here say that it's between 30 and 40%. And it's been tested with the talent acquisition pools from 10 to 50 people, more than 15, 20 of them at the moment. So this takes 30 to 40% of your job if you have loads of applicants. If you don't have loads of applicants, that doesn't take absolutely anything. But if it does take loads of applicants, it takes 30 or 40% of your job. 90% of you told me that you don't do anything that you've never hired or haven't hired in this year from the, how many thousands of CVs do you have in your talent pool? Loads. How many of them have you hired? 0. This does it for you. So you advertise a job, looks in your talent pool and says, oh, there are 10 people. Just talk to them first. And then let's open the job to the public so that people can apply. Anything I should be talking about here? Can you think of something that you hate most? Actually, let's start from the other way. What do you like most about recruitment? Which task that you actually do? What do you enjoy the best doing in recruitment? Anyone?
Giving offers.
Giving offers. Nice. Interviewing. Communication. Anything else? You must be doing something else. Video? PTO. I love this. So those all are kind of towards the end of the path of somebody getting a job. Is that correct? So you can use AI. I have 59 seconds. You can use AI for everything that you don't like, because if you like what you just said, that's all towards the end. So you can use AI for the rest. All the boring BS, didn't say anything wrong, at the beginning of the funnel. And then you get into something like this. I don't know whether this is big enough. So this is a CV, and I was told I'm not allowed to show you like a real product with real CVs because of privacy and GDPR and whatever else, so I used mine. And I give you the permission to look at my CV. So GDPR, forget it. So what you're looking at every single day is this. That's kind of really boring. And that's actually my real CV. That's not that I made a boring CV for this presentation. This is what AI gives you. And funny enough, what actually AI gives you is something that you dictate. Because you can define the prompt in any of the tool and say, look, I want to see this, I don't want to see this. So you can only tell you, and the thing that I look at first is the percentage. And that is highlighted up there. And it ranks the view of your applications by people who are most relevant, as opposed to those that are applied first. Does anybody have this in their ATS at the moment, that you can see most relevant applications as opposed to those that applied a minute ago? Yeah, which one? Doco Recruit. Anybody else?
Lever will launch next week.
Will launch next week, thank you. So Doco and potentially Lever. The rest of you are looking at this every single day, and this is what you should be looking at. So browsing through thousands of CVs to find one that actually matches, and it thinks instead of you. The other thing as well, you can take the elements here in or out. This is just the default prompt that we have in our tool at the moment, which is nice, whatever else. But you can say, and links to email, to phone, so you can call the person straight away and whatever else. But you can change this totally. You can say, look, I know that they're all good developers. I want somebody who lives locally, so just let me know if he lives locally, yes, no. I want people who, whatever you're recruiting for. So you can design AI to work with you in whatever way that you like. And that's my main message today. There are some slides, but I think minus 1 minute, so I'll stop here. Any questions? Would you rather, actually, raise of hands, would you rather see this or this? So the first is, let's say this. Some of you. This, none of you ish. One. We need to talk to them later. That's what you're looking at today. This is what you can define what you want to do, what you want to see. And actually, on top of all this, you can display this and then put the analysis back at the bottom of it, or on top, or in whatever shape or form. But you can also make it in a way that AI can make decisions, that a next agent that comes in and looks at this data can make a decision, are we moving this person to a next stage? And you move him to a stage, whatever it is in your ATS, I'll be there in a second, minus 22, which is scheduler interview or whatever else. And then your ATS sends an email automatically to the candidate, or our AI can do it, or whatever else. Looks at the calendars, organizes interviews, and whatever else. So that's your 30–40% of the job gone, and 30% of the job that you hate most. So that's my answer to your question that I've heard from three of you today, how should we use AI? That is how, because you hate that part of a job. Question number one.
Ivan, if I've used this to evaluate CVs and I've got some optimum candidates with matches, what do I tell the hiring manager?
What do you tell the hiring manager? In what sense?
How I've made the selection. What do I say to them?
You show them the prompt, and you actually expose the prompt to them. And you tell them, do you want to change the prompt and have a ranking? So you give them access to this. Collaboration removes you, you get fired. Any other questions? What do we do next? That is it.
No, fine.
That is it, because the software that will give hiring managers this, and a prompt, and a really good video, and a really good instructions on how to construct with 20 different templates of the prompts that will analyze their CVs, that is in the making. And you mentioned Lever, and what was the other ITS there? Are going to have it or whatever else. We are also talking to a number of ATSs, including Lever, about implementing this into their ATSs. So, is there anything else that you wanted to hear today? Hold on. I'm just -4. No other questions. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry to have shocked you.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you.